Bonjour, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Gamer Social Club Weekly News Podcast. It is our Halloween episode. We are recording on Thursday, the 30th of October, 2025, the day before, of course, All Hallows Eve, but we are celebrating just the same. We are going to be talking about Amazon and all their goings on over the last week or so within the gaming sphere, and what sort of impact that's had, as well as probably the general topic of these sort of companies getting involved in that side of in this industry. And we're going to share with you some of our picks for great Halloween games for you to play over this time. So yeah, of course, I am your host, Gustav, aka Harry, aka the Knavish Crayfish. And joining me this week, I have it's no empathy, only daggers in skeletal form. It's Lady V. How are you, V?
Ooh, I'm very well, thank you. My face is starting to get a little bit itchy, but apart from that, I am fine.
It's fantastic. Again, obviously, if you're listening to this, you should be watching this because we are, no, as you can imagine, all in fancy dress here in costume, and you are missing out on some fantastic face paint from Lady V here. This is definitely your scariest of your costumes, I think, for the month. Uh, you're,
Yes, the easiest one to do though,
well, there you go.
because I just have face paint in my house. Don't ask me why I just have face paint in my house, but I've just got a fuck ton of face paint like in my house. So this only took about 10 minutes, and then I just put a wig on. It was great.
Perfect. Easy. Maybe not quite the same though for our third member today. 50,000 people used to listen here, and now it's a ghost town. Of course, it's our very own Mark, aka We Work with the Hive. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, thanks, Harry. I'm already struggling inside this ghillie suit, cosplaying as Ghost from Call of Duty today. The good Call of Duty Ghost, not from Call of Duty Ghosts. That would be that time.
Hmm.
But
That's really
yeah, really,
spooky. Like,
yeah.
That's scary.
I'm trying really hard to look like the meme as the driver is looking over at the passenger seat in the window. But yeah, if you see me battling with a straw to get through my face mask, apologies for the clanking throughout the podcast. But yeah, looking forward to talking about some very spooky games this week.
Yeah, we'll see how we are at the end of this. We may have all like start to look slightly different from how we started. We'll see how it goes. Dear. Oh, I think something's happened with your camera there, Mark. Oh, there's back. There we go. We're good. We're good. Of course, we are several members of the Gamer Social Club, which you can find over at www.gamersocialclub.ca. We are a site that covers video games in its many formats, from news, reviews, previews, interviews, guides, editorials, and anything else we can think of. And you can find all of our material there. Of course, this is our YouTube channel. This is one of our podcasts. We hold the Gamer Social Club Weekly News podcast that comes out every Friday. And then we have also the Girl Pod with Lady V and another member of the team, Candy, which comes out every Monday. And obviously, you can find all of our content for that here on our YouTube channel. Like, if you enjoyed today's video, drop any comments below for anything you'd like to share with us, any feedback or any answers to any questions we may have. And consider subscribing for more content like this. If you want to know everything about us as a site, as a team, there are three pillars to what we do. We are, number one, a fully independent, homegrown, grassroots site and team, just sharing our love of games with you, all of you at home, and just doing that the best way we can. Secondly, we run all of our news through a rumor-free filter, so everything you get from us, you know, to be factual to the time it was reported, and we'll do our best to keep it up to date. We do not keep up with the social media spin or anything like that. We are not hunting around on Reddit. We are going just for the facts, just so you can trust us and our sources. And of course, third and finally, is that any game that we review, we finish, we will see through to the end as best we can. If it's got credits, we roll credits. If it doesn't have credits, we'll just play it as much as possible before giving you, our thoughts and opinions and score, of course, on the game. We are on all the social medias ourselves, as well as the Gamer Social Club, which you can find on Twitter/X at gamer_s_c. Sorry, so that's gamer_s_c. And then you can find us on the rest of the socials like Blue Sky and Threads at just Gamer Social Club. And all of this sort of info will be down below in the description, alongside any of our articles that we highlight during this podcast. And so you can find all that below as well and enjoy some of our hard work. It's been a very, very busy month. A lot of reviews. I didn't check this with you beforehand, B, but it feels like this may have been one of our heaviest months for reviews, if not the heaviest month for reviews. Is that the
Um,
case?
I think last month might have been slightly heavier,
Yeah,
but
September was super busy. You're right.
no, this month has been very, very busy with reviews.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you go and check the site, I think we published about maybe 15 reviews this month, which is quite a lot,
Yeah.
considering we are a small ragtag bunch.
It's true.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, and alongside that, loads of other stuff as well. Loads of guides. We did full coverage on Power Wash Simulator 2. When it comes to guides, you can 100% that using all of our written guides there. So, check that out along with so much other stuff. So yeah, we really appreciate it. But yeah, with the rigmarole out the way, let's go straight into our first segment as always, which is what we have been playing. And let's think. Does anybody want to start today? Anyone feeling like they're particularly chipper about what they want to talk about? Anyone excited about it? I know Mark's been playing a bunch of different stuff. He's been playing Half-Life from before, but what are you on now then, buddy?
Yes, I've been playing a couple of things that I look forward to talking about next week, which I can't talk about right now. But for the last week, been a bit of a mix. I've been back to Luigi's Mansion 3, getting ready for the spooky season, which has been great. So my Switch has had a 3 to 4 month hiatus since I picked up a Steam Deck and picked it back up this week, and then I've clocked out a few more of the levels of the hotel in Luigi's Mansion 3. You know what? It's just a great time. When it comes to spooky games, the kind of Resident Evil is about my spooky level. Anything over that, I just become a massive puss and I can't handle anymore. So Resident Evil is kind of like the top tier. Luigi's Mansion is about where I'm comfortable and I'm not going to poo my pants. So having a really, really good time. It's a fantastic game. It's full of charm, and I love games with charm. It's got that very Nintendo feel, and I love the original. I had it on GameCube back in 2002, I think is right, and now it's back on Switch Online this week as well. But I'm just so impressed by the physics in Luigi's Mansion 3, the way that everything gets hoovered up, everything, all the ghosts, the way that you chase them with a vacuum, and the way they react, and all the environments react. It's just been a really, really great time. And it's so different and more expansive to the original. I've not played 2, but every level that I'm traveling up the hotel, it's an entirely new world. There's different levels of the hotel. Some of them are casino based, some of them are like ancient Egyptian based, some of them are based on movie sets, so it's like you're in Hollywood. But everything's thematic as you climb the hotel, and each time it's very different, really creative, and it's just so Nintendo. And I've been having a really, really good time with that. Probably about 10 hours in, so probably not too much further to go now. But Professor Egad is keeping me going, and keeps upgrading my. I forgot the acronym for the vacuum, but it is one of those acronyms where it's actually the name of something. I can't think what it's called now.
I can't remember either. I've only played the first one. It's the same machine you use throughout, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's one of those where it's just a basically spelling of something that is also an acronym. V may be looking it up. I can see
I'm looking it up.
Of course,
the only thing the only EGAD thing that I remember is Flood from Super Mario Sunshine. So I'm gonna have to look it up.
I was gonna say I know him more from Flood, and I remember Flood, not the actual what it stands for, just the acronym.
I'm getting confused with the Flood.
The Poltergust 300.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
is the vacuum. Yeah.
That's the one. So ignore my acronym claim. I am thinking of Mario Sunshine.
The Flood is the Flash Liquidizer Ultra Dousing Device, I believe. Is what Flood stands for. I really like Super Mario Sunshine.
Wow.
I love when games do that. They really, really try hard, don't they? But yeah, it's been great. It's been really, really great. I will go and pick up 2 eventually when I'm done as well. That will complete the trilogy for me. But remembering Luigi's Mansion 1 being about 6-7 hour game, super short, but it was brilliant. But this number 3, I can see why it got a lot of love when it came out a few years ago. So yeah, had a really good time with that the last few days. So it's been Been good fun. Ready for spooky
Nice.
season, and yeah, been a good time. Been a good time.
Excellent. Nice, man. Yeah, awesome. Well, I have jumped into Ghost of Yote. That's the thing I've been playing. I sort of finally treated myself to it. I had a couple of other games, like Little Nightmares 3. That's been my sort of spooky game. Then I just finished that a couple of days ago. Plan to go back, do more of the kind of collectibles and like the sort of odd achievements here to like do particular things. It's a platinum. I think it's going to be out of reach for me because it's got one achievement or trophy in particular, which is pretty tough. They always do. I feel like with the Little Nightmares games, there's always one that's just really tough. Like the first game I think had it where you had to play through the whole game without dying, and those sort of ones are brutal, especially in a game like that where just one wrong jump and you've just plummeted straight down a hole, and it's like, oh great, that's the whole 2.5 hour run gone, or something like that. But no, I've been playing Ghost of Yote and really enjoying that. Good first, I'd say 10 hours or so into the game. I think I've sort of cleared like the first region. I think obviously we'll have to go back for other bits maybe, but like I've done the first area, like where you're kind of like under Mount Yote and starting to move through and pursue the rest of the Yote 6. And yeah, I don't think it's out of turn to say that I think the Ghost series of games are probably the most beautiful, like the most beautiful natural realism sort of games in gaming. Like I think they capture the real world better than any other sort of game out there, whether it's GTA, which I know is a parody, but it's still basing stuff off of the real world, or Horizon with it being in a future Earth environment and stuff like that, and using like landmarks and stuff from like San Francisco and things like that in their games. But like I do think that Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yote as well now do such an incredible job of making the whole world constantly beautiful. Everything is like breathtaking. You turn around, or you hop onto your horse, and suddenly the perspective shifts. It like narrows, bring the two black bars to the top of one of your screens, like narrowing everything into like a much more cinematic effect when you get on start riding, and it's so perfectly tuned to make everything feel just like cinematic and amazing without it being just a cinematic game where you're just watching cutscenes play out. You're doing everything, and yet you could watch it back and be like, man, this almost feels like it's been choreographed, and you didn't do a huge amount to make that happen. It's just the game looking so good. So yeah, just been absolutely loving it. I think the one thing I would say is that I'm enjoying this. Probably the story is more like, I think I enjoyed Jin's story from the first game more because I enjoyed the struggle he faced, the internal struggle, whilst I enjoy Yote's story because it is very much just like a Kill Bill revenge narrative, and that's really fun to get on board with. But like, yeah, Jin's story and Tsushima, I feel like was more kind of like interesting, and like you could mull that over a bit more. Whilst with this one with Atsu, like you're 100% on board with like everything that's going on, and she's just super cool. Like she's got all these brilliant abilities, and her playstyle is like immediately fun and diverse, and yeah, having a really great time with it, and yeah, looking forward to just spending more time with it when I can. Other than that, again, a couple of games obviously under embargo, and yeah, I think that's pretty much my main gaming right now. Yeah, yeah, I think so. Lady V, what have you been playing?
I have been playing the Outer Worlds 2. So I won't go too much into detail of it because I do have to write a review about it. So I'll give you all of my thoughts. But I've been having a fantastic time with it. It's just as much fun as the first game, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I think the guys over at Obsidian are absolutely smashing it and have been for like ever, I think, potentially. Just
Yeah, I think we could say that.
really, really good. Like Avowed earlier on in the year was fantastic, and the Outer Worlds 2 is very fun. We were provided a code for it from the guys over at Xbox, where we got the premium edition, which meant that I was one of the people that got the lovely pop-up for the flaw of consumerism to tell me that their marketing had worked, and I couldn't stop myself from buying the next best thing, which I thought was very funny in the context of the game, but also very funny in the fact that I had not paid it at all. Well, I had not paid for it. I was given it as a gift.
Yeah.
But yeah, the floor system seems really fun. In fact, I might go so far to say it seems a little bit more fun than the first game. I've not played the first game in a while, but if I remember the flaws correctly, the majority of them were just sort of negative. So you would take them because they were funny, and a lot of them were very funny. I think I had the one where I was addicted to nicotine. So just like you had to just run about continually chain smoking, or you would not be able to function correctly. And I was like, that's quite funny. But the ones in the second one seem to be just a little bit more creative. So there's like was it creaky knees, where you get extra
Yes.
movement speed, but if you crouch, and then to go into stealth and then pop back up, then it makes a pop noise that everyone in the vicinity knows exactly your location, which I think is quite fun. And
Very good.
there's just a lot of other fun ones that I won't spoil as you go through. And obviously you do choose to take them or not. If you would not like any of the downsides, then you don't have to take the flaws. They're fully optional. But I know a lot of people try and do like full flaw playthroughs where they take as many flaws as humanly possible. But yeah, it's really, really good. It's absolutely gorgeous, actually. I remember the first one being very nice to look at, but like not like show stopping or anything like that. But it is a beautiful, beautiful game. So obviously a lot more cartoony in terms of its visuals, because it's very stylized. Buck Rogers into space, but yeah, it looks great. I've been playing a mixture of it on my PC through the Xbox app to do some recording, and also on the Series X, and it looks fantastic on both. I've not had any issues with it, but yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to getting more of the weird and wonderful weapons that you had in the first game. There's definitely an achievement that I think is a carryover for the first game, where it's like kill an enemy that is under 5 different status effects. And I'm almost certain that achievement was in the first game. And it's because you can do all sorts of weird and wonderful things to people. There's also an achievement for shrinking people with a shrink ray and then stomping on them. And I'm like, yes, I'm going for this achievement. I will be shrinking everyone and then just running about like Godzilla. Like, just like, haha, I stand on everyone. Yay. But no, I've had a lot of fun with it thus far. I'm looking forward to playing a little bit more of it. I had to take a little break to play a game that I had for review, which I can talk about because the embargo stops at midnight and this won't be up till tomorrow. But I was playing a little game called Devil Jam. And Mark, I feel like I'm starting to agree with you a little bit. Maybe there are too many roguelikes.
Oh no.
Maybe they've taken it too far.
They should.
Whisper in your ears, coming true. I've planted the seed.
Is this a Jurassic Park quote moment of they didn't stop to think whether or not they should, or whatever it is?
You were too preoccupied with whether or not you could. You didn't stop to think about whether you should.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it's a sort of Vampire Survivor-esque. So it's like a Survivor's roguelike. By a team called Rogueside. And I've played one of their games before. They made a sort of detective, bartending simulator, but you are helping the police solve crimes, called Best Served Cold, earlier on in the year, which was very fun. But this is like a rhythm-based survivors roguelike. And it's not that it's bad. I just don't. You're going into such an oversaturated genre, so you really have to do something special to stand out, and I just don't think that it's enough. So there's been a few updates and stuff as I've been playing. I think I mentioned to you, Harry, that the meta progression system was really rough, but they have upgraded that over the course, so it's not as rough anymore. But it just feels like there's just not a lot to do. Like I have like 120 odd hours in Vampire Survivors, and I will not be taking any comments about that. But like, but Vampire Survivors has like loads and loads of levels. You unlock new maps. They all play the same, but you know, it's like different music, different characters that have different starting weapons, etc. This, you've got 3 different characters, different starting weapons, but there's only one biome, and it just, anytime you go in, it just does the same biome over and over again. And given the fact it's like rhythm based, that means that you've got two bosses, that one at 10 minutes, one at 20 minutes, and the final boss. And the music sort of changes between each boss. But that, if you're doing like 120 hours of runs, which I don't think anyone's going to be doing. Maybe people don't do that in Vampire Survivors either. Maybe it's just me. You're doing the same music.
Yeah.
Every time, over and over again. The enemies are the exact same. They come into the map at the exact same times. Like, there's not really, you can unlock more moves and stuff like that, but none of them feel unique enough that it makes it you want to experiment around with them. And it doesn't specifically, it does not have the little dopamine rush that you get from like Vampire Survivors, or more recently Ball Pit, where you get like an evolution of your weapon and the screen goes crazy and you're like, yay! Like like Vampire Survivors, when all the fireworks start going off and the music goes crazy and it's like, oh, you got 5 things out of the chest and they're all completely pointless, but I'm like, damn, that was satisfying. Or in Ball Pit, where you've like merged 2 new balls together and you get a brand new ball and you're like, ooh, this is exciting, I've never seen this before, what does it do? This is just like, oh, this is upgraded to mythical. And it's like, oh, what does that do? It's like, oh, this number goes up. And I'm like, I love number go up, but this is not satisfying number go up. Like, this is, you've not. So yeah, I think that maybe not everything needs to be a roguelike. And maybe if you're going to make it a roguelike, then you have to do a lot to make me want to do more than 4 or 5 runs, defeat the final boss, and then move on to something else. So the full review of it will be on the site tomorrow. So if you're interested in reading my full thoughts on the game, then they will be there. But yeah, that is what I've been playing. One thing I'm having a lot of fun with. Another thing that is fun, and it's a small dev, and I don't want to discredit them too much. It's very well made. There's no bugs. It looks fantastic. Plays very smoothly. I'm just a bit like, this. What is this for? Who's this for? Because it's not for me, and I feel like these are the sorts of games that are usually for me. I put 36 hours into Ball Pit over the course of 4 days to 100% it. If your roguelike, like, just run survivor-like thing is not for me, I don't know who it's for.
Your subject, your patient 0.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, anyway, people can obviously check out, as you say, the full review over on the site, gamersocialclub.ca, where again you can find all our other reviews as well. But yeah, with that, let's move on then to the meat of this episode, where we are going to talk a little bit about what's been going on with Amazon, not in its entirety, because obviously that covers so many departments, but as it pertains specifically to the gaming scene and the
I thought we were just going to make fun of Jeff Bezos for half an hour.
I mean, he is involved, I'm sure, so we can. That's fine. There's no limits on what we can say, as it were. But at the same time, just try and keep it on trend for the show, for the podcast. And of course, that has meant obviously, that has led to widespread layoffs. Pretty much entirely attributed to the fact that they're just thrilled with AI. I don't want to bring up the horrifying message that went out to employees and stuff like that, because it is truly ghastly. But essentially, it was them saying how brilliant they were doing, and then asking themselves the question of them, why are we doing all these cuts? It's like, well, because we can, because of AI. That was it, basically, in a nutshell, and it's pretty horrible. But yes, of course, this has affected the gaming division at Amazon as well, meaning that numerous projects have been put in very precarious positions, or with kind of their futures kind of already written for them. Um, Probably most notable among them being New World Eternum. That's the correct way around, isn't it? Yeah. Um, which is their MMO, which released about, what was it,
2021.
2021?
2021 on PC and
Yeah.
last October on PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been going for a few years now, and seemingly it was doing quite well. But I think the last sort of update from the devs has been that they will be keeping the servers and everything going until 2026 for the fans.
Yeah.
As to what happens past that remains to be seen. But there's a lot of different sort of headlines coming out around this sort of stuff, especially around New World Eternum, which is kind of a bit of a lightning rod for this, I guess, because it's the biggest title that they've got from that platform, from that service. Not platform, service, sorry, from them as a publisher. And so there's been talk of thousands of people signing up to start playing it now, having heard the news, versus the fan base sort of, negatively review bombing the game on Steam and places like that with regards to Amazon's practices. Not about the game directly. I think they're using it as a conduit to send a message, from what I understand.
It's not free to play, is it? It didn't start as free to play
No,
anyway. Well,
yeah,
obviously, I don't know how much of
on Steam.
Luna, Amazon Luna. I don't know how many, because I know Amazon Prime TV, like, well, half of it is just like you have to pay for this. So
yeah, I wouldn't,
I
because
don't know if you can play it for free if you've got like a Prime account or something.
yeah,
I'm
that's the
not
sort of thing I was
entirely
wondering.
sure.
Maybe you get something like that happening, because obviously if it's on console, with it being on Xbox and PlayStation, I assume that's just you buy the game and then you are playing. Are you then paying a monthly subscription? Is it a monthly subscription as well, or is it just to buy the game one off?
I'm not entirely sure. I can't find it on the Xbox store, actually.
It's 50 quid on Xbox, so it's still, meaty price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still coming up quite a lot. I'd imagine it'll be the same on PlayStation, and I don't recall the game having a monthly fee on console, but I could totally be wrong on that.
Just trying to pull it.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't have anything like that. So it's been just a buy to play. They must have the players on console must have a subscription to their respective online. Oh right, yeah, that's just to do with PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's just a one you purchase and then you're good to go. So it's not a free to play one, as you say, but you're not then like WoW, where you're still paying a subscription every month. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's another case of the industry, um, you know, kind of suffering from its own sort of success in a weird way. Very few people being successful and everyone else suffering for it, I guess, in that respect. Um, and we've seen this happen with a number of different companies. And again, Amazon is not the first of these sort of what I guess we'll refer to as maybe sort of like outsider companies coming into the games industry and trying to plant their sort of flag in whatever way they can. We during the rush of COVID, when everyone was at home, gaming obviously skyrocketed, and it was around that sort of time then all these different platforms and entities started circling, and seeing reason to get involved and get their sort of beaks wet, as it were. But now are quite possibly finding out that it's not as easy as they thought, and are sort of backing away, because it's not they're not completely shutting it all down, are they? They're kind of trying to um, re sort of sort of redirecting, I guess, their sort of approach to game development. They're sort of doing different sorts of genres and things, aren't they? I think they're moving
Yeah,
away
they're
from like
not.
Mhm.
they're not shutting down their gaming division. They've like revamped it, so it's the all new Amazon Luna. And I think they're saying that they're still going to be making AAA, AA games, but they're doing a big focus towards party games
Hmm.
because obviously there's been a lot of successful party games over the past, like, say, 2 years with things like, Lethal Company and Content Warning and Peak and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just like um a pivot towards something that's trendy, and then by the time like some of these games come out, so many of them only really take off because streamers and stuff like that will play them and have some fun with them, and then people are like, oh wow, that looks fun, I'm going to play it with my friends.
Hmm.
um um so it's very like hit and miss. For every peak, I'm sure there's about 40 different like co-op friend games that are on Steam that no one's ever heard of, and no one's
Yeah.
ever played. Uh, um, but also, it seems like it's a trend that is very liable to potentially drop off at any time. So, like I like love Peak. Think it's a fantastic game. I'm really happy the fact there's lots of fun little co-op like party games that you can play with your friends. But I think the joy of them is most of them are like really sort of like unstructured, and you sort of make your own fun with your friends in them. Like,
Mhm.
yes, you want to get bing bong to the top of the peak, but actually, what if I threw a frisbee right in your face? Or like, like, yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but there's that one that's like voice activated, and everyone's a wizard, and
Oh,
you get
yes.
spells, and it's just like trying to trick your friends into saying something like fireball so everyone gets set on fire. I'm like, fantastic, love it. But yeah, I think the one that they announced, it was at Summer Games Fest. It was that King of Meat,
Yeah.
and it's almost like a sort of Fall Guysy
Mm.
type. It looks like anyway. So it's like you go through the different levels, and um you sort of do the challenges and see who survives at the end. And I'm like, okay, I don't think that's actually the type of party games anyone's actually playing anymore.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
so you're going into this category and being like, this is our new big game and it's going to be amazing. And I don't know anyone who's played Fall Guys since the pandemic, to be honest. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, so party games are just they're so hit and miss for what's going to be popular. I think it's so difficult to try and predict. And it just goes to show like these big companies, like your Netflix, your Amazons, and stuff like that, who have never really been part of the gaming space, or even big companies that are part of the gaming space. We know like Sony's strategy with all of their live service games, and then
Yeah.
everyone was like, actually, we only want to play these live service games. Like, not everything has to be this. It's like, so what happens when their party games flop? Are they going to take a step back again and be like, oh, we're laying off more staff and we're going to rejig it again because we're going to churn out 25 different roguelikes and one of them will hit? We bet your ass is going to. I'm like, I'm not entirely sure about it.
Mm.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I'm not convinced that they necessarily know what they're doing. And I don't think laying off half of your staff is useful in trying to figure out what you're going to be doing, to be honest. Especially when they presumably, if they were like Netflix, had a lot of people that had came over from other companies that knew a lot more about the gaming space. I definitely read. I'm going to have to look it up. I will pass over to someone else as I'm looking it up. But they're putting out something really quickly that is like partially made with AI, and it makes me
Oh.
want to peel off all my skin. So I'm going to look that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Mark, again, what are your sort of thoughts on this? Whichever part you want to tackle, obviously go for it. Whilst he's looking that up.
Yeah, I think the part of this to tackle really is kind of from the player side. So, as someone who's suffered from being a big fan of games that have had server closures, most notably for me personally is the the original Warzone servers, which is today, apart from Call of Duty in China, the only Call of Duty game that you actually can't play anymore. So that would have had its server shut down.
Yeah.
But I just think it's kind of really a sad state of affairs where people can invest a copious amount of times, and especially into things like MMOs, where you do dedicate probably, these. If you play an MMO, there's a good chance it's your only game, or probably 75% plus of your gaming time is dedicated to it. You put all that legwork, you create those kind of online communities, you get to know people, and you get quite passionate about it. And then all of a sudden, just because player numbers have dropped off, or there's a new AI opportunity for the big overarching company, they're going to turn your game off, and you can no longer ever play it again. I just think it's really, really sad. And there've been so many games that this has happened to over the last 3 to 4 years, especially as we come down from that peak of kind of game staff recruitments after the pandemic we were speaking about before we came on. But it's really, I think it's really sad for the players, and it makes me kind of worry about committing to a new big game that's online only for the future. There are things that are going to be surefire as successes, and I think you can normally tell what they're going to be, and that they're at least going to last for 3 to 4 years. But some of these kind of MMO things that people dedicate 10 plus years to, I don't think I'd want to touch with a barge pole as something new, because you've got your Final Fantasy 14s, you've got your WoW, which is just going to be kind of an omnipresent game of the industry, and other games coming in to try and take them on, I think is just really hard. And especially when it's a company that's like a non-gaming company, like an Amazon, a Netflix, or a Google, who've dabbled in the games industry and quickly got bored and given up on it. I wouldn't want to start dedicating time to something that they've made if something else came back. And but I guess you've also got the similar situation for smaller devs who bring out MMOs. If the player numbers dry up, then their cash dries up rather quickly, and the server's going to go as well. So it's just the industry just continues to eat itself alive, and I think MMOs are going to be a big victim of that over the next few years, I think.
Yeah. I there's no like I don't feel like there's any like good um thing to take away from these other companies, frankly, haven't gotten invested into gaming. I don't feel like they've brought something into this industry. People may say like, oh, loads of money. It's like, but again, it's not as if that's been then gone to actually like bolstering the industry. That's gone back into the few who, you know, reap the rewards of these successes, whilst they're able to then, you know, lay off a whole bunch of staff because hey, project's over, we don't need you anymore. You know, no job security and like that. Thanks very much for your time. You know, see you never. Um, and with this sort of flippant approach to, as you say, like game production, game publishing, game development, uh, it just feels like they're going to do more harm than good by the end of all this. Um, and yeah, I don't necessarily see Amazon or Netflix or any of these other sort of other companies that haven't otherwise become quite steeped in video games. Whether you're Nintendo, who in their DNA, or it's Xbox, who have sort of taken on the mantle of being a sort of game kind of company in a bigger way. I don't see these other ones though, like getting a foothold. Uh, you know, even lasting like a sort of third party publisher. I just don't think they've got the stomach for it. I don't think they can hack dealing with things not going exactly as they want to um, with their games and making every single thing being a massive success um, due to the very attitudes that they seem to have, which is so quick to change course and chase trends and cut corners, doing everything they can to just make the money as quickly as possible regardless of whether or not, they can say, oh, we still plan to stick to doing AAA and AA, but then the fact that the games they want to then highlight are these party titles and stuff like that, it's like, I don't think those two things have ever really come into contact with each other that often, of like a AAA party game like that. The only ones I could think of are things like Mario Party, because it's a Nintendo game. But otherwise the ones we were just talking about are your Peaks, your Repos, your Among Us, your Fall Guys. Like these all came from tiny indie studios, and they're polished because they've spent time working on them and they play well and like that. But they're not high fidelity. They're not pushing engines and stuff like that. They're not making the most of the hardware. You can't describe them as being AAA. So I don't understand that. To me, that comes across as completely kind of antithetical to each other. And it just speaks to them not either getting it or just lying and not caring because it's not important to them. They're going to just continue on it regardless, and no one can stop them. It feels like. V, did you manage to find that horrifying?
Yeah, their new AI game from Studio 5, Courtroom Chaos, starring Snoop Dogg. That's gonna save the company. And apparently that Studio 5 is going to focus on casual AI based games. And I'm like, I know that the higher ups of big corpo are generally pretty far removed from what the customers and the consumers of their products are.
Yeah.
But you just have to go on Twitter for like 5 minutes to know that the majority of gamers do not want AI in their games, and not like the way we would traditionally think about AI in games. Obviously, yeah, if we were talking about how enemies react and stuff like that, that's fine. But this is like AI generated prompts.
Yeah.
So for how it responds to what you're writing and stuff like that, and it's like people don't want that in their games. Because I don't know if like people at my work try and use ChatGPT all the time. And if I'm sure I've said it before on one of the podcasts, could be this podcast, could be Girl Pod. I feel very strongly about it. But it's like, if you send me an email that you have drafted with AI, I can tell, one, because nobody talks like that. And two, it's usually full of fucking errors, like just standard errors. Like, because AIs are dumb and they're like trained off of Reddit posts. And I go on Reddit and I don't need that in my email inbox. Like, it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, just stop it. But yeah, nobody wants Courtroom Chaos with Snoop Dogg. Stop it. Like, shut up. Like, what I did forget though is that Amazon now owns Crystal Dynamics, so they'll be making the new Tomb Raider game.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Apparently they're still working on it, and they're working on an open world driving game because presumably someone was like, "Oh, Forza's pretty good," and then someone else went, "Oh, Nintendo just managed to sell people Mario Kart for this amount of money, so let's make an open world driving game." As if you don't have like two of the biggest franchises in the world like backing these things up, and also Forza Horizon 5 was fantastic. But like, it's just like, oh, let's throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, and if it doesn't, then we'll just pump out a little AI casual game with fucking Snoop Dogg in it. Like, he got like a Spyro game delivered by drone that looked like Spyro.
Yeah.
What happened to you, Snoop Dogg? What the fuck is this?
Yeah. Didn't even have to meet him to be disappointed with him.
I think there's something in this as well, and thinking about it from the the big company perspective. And Xbox execs and Satya Nadella himself have this week been commented about the kind of the attention economy of gamers. And I think it's quite easy to roll your eyes at that. And Xbox have certainly created their own problems, and they're battling against themselves for sure. But I think the actual comment is quite relevant for the industry. And as gamers, we've got so much more to compete with for our time, sorry. You know, you could spend your whole evening scrolling your phone. A lot of people do, particularly, you know, a lot of casual gamers, and Microsoft are going after that casual gamer audience with cloud and the likes. But I think when there's so much competing for our time, things like MMOs are not going to really bring in casual gamers as well. And I think those kind of things like Fortnite, where you can hop in for 20 minutes and then jump off, or you can play for 4 hours. I think that's the kind of and you guys have talked about Among Us and things like Peak. They are those kind of like short thrills or long extensive sessions. So I think those are the kind of games that we're just going to continue to see. But again, like we've talked about with you know, things like roguelites that Viv was talking about before, the game genres quickly get oversaturated, and there's so, you know, there's so many good games that people just, it just takes up all their time, and that attention economy is already just eaten up, and the slice of the pie has already been taken. And I fear for industry in general, and I wonder what the future holds. And I think if the trend to be chased is around attention economy, I think some of the game creative decisions that we'll see in the future probably won't be creating the games that hardcore gamers want to play, I feel. So
Yeah, I don't think that you're wrong about the attention economy at all. I think I do a big sigh, because it makes me a little bit sad. Because I remember reading something a while ago, and it was specifically about Netflix, and it was like their strategy of making second screen viewing, I think they call it, which is like something that you can have on casually in the background whilst you scroll your phone, so that you don't have to pay attention to the plot beats realistically in order to talk about it with your friends. And I was like, I really like entertainment. Like, I like good films, I like books, I love video games, and it just makes me a little bit sad. This is where we are in the world, where it's like you're competing with, and I look at reels and shorts on my phone. There are lots of ones about fun dinosaur facts that I enjoy a lot. But yeah, the you're now competing with just short form content that is fully designed to just do that clicky in your brain, and it will presumably destroy a lot of art forms as we know it, which is kind of terrifying.
Yeah. Again, the corporatization of art and this medium is not going to benefit it in the short or long term. And yeah, no, again, I completely agree with your point, Mark, about the attention economy. And as much as other people have been talking about how, you know, Xbox are just trying to like save face and stuff like that, it's like no, they're absolutely right, and all the other companies know this as well. You'd be daft not to see that. And yeah, I guess it's just whether or not they see enough success. Amazon and these other companies see enough success from these smaller games that they hope capture the casual audience and are able to bring in, you know, the numbers they need and the money, of course. But yeah, anything else anyone wants to share on that topic? I feel like we should move on.
It's supposed to be spooky, not just sad.
Let's talk about some games that do deserve your attention then. How about that? We're going to share some of our picks for games that we feel are good picks for Halloween, and maybe they're not, you know, the usual picks you'd hear about, like you know, Silent Hill F or Chronos: The New Dawn, the big horror titles or something like that. Maybe it's gonna be something else. Of course, those are great games as well, and we've got reviews for those and things like that up on our site, so go check those out. But yeah, I thought we'd get together and just share a couple of maybe some smaller titles that we felt were, well, not even smaller, just other titles that we thought were great for Halloween. And I'd like to kick off because last week we had a lovely chat about a title that then unfortunately I had to cut because it was the whole conversation was based off of like a complete mistake in accuracy by me, attributing the wrong studio to something. But I wanted to bring it up again because we had a lovely talk about it, which was a game called Blacktail by a studio called Parasite. It is a fantastic first-person archery-based narrative-driven kind of sort of light RPG with sort of it's got a very kind of surreal, eerie feel to it. It's a game based on Slavic folklore, heavily involving things like Baba Yaga and that sort of thing. You play a young girl, a sort of young teen girl whose sister's gotten lost and disappeared in the forest, and you leave your village to go find her, and you get caught up in this sort of fantastical realm within the woods, control that's under the sort of the watchful eye of Baba Yaga, and you're finding her, or like you're finding the sort of the witch's hut on the chicken leg, and all this sort of crazy imagery of like black cats and a star-spangled sky where the stars are these huge, almost like paper cutout stars that give it a very kind of strange, kind of dreamlike feel to the game, and it's a huge amount of fun, quite deep in the mechanics of it. There's like a morality system, really fun sort of archery gameplay if you're into that, and yeah, beautiful world design, some amazing sort of like set pieces within like particular quests you do and stuff like that. Um, Great voice acting, very full of character, and as I said, great sort of world design and character design and creature design and that sort of thing. Um, so yeah, I definitely would recommend Blacktail. That's going to be one of the ones I would suggest if you're looking for something a bit eerie, kind of spooky but not scary, um, and definitely has that kind of Halloween vibe to it. Yeah, that would be my first pick, my first suggestion for a Halloween game. Um, Mark, what's your first pick for Halloween game? Oh, don't think we can hear you.
Yeah, can't hear you.
Goodness me, put myself on
Oh,
mute.
there you go. I can hear you now. You're
Feel
back.
the
You're
sound of
back.
my straw rattling around a moment ago.
Yeah.
Running on 60% oxygen here, I think, in this mask.
Yeah. Ghost is gassing out.
If I pass out, apologies. Yeah, one game that I think is really suitable for spooky season, and without giving too much away, because it really is part of the experience, is Gone Home. And I've only been thinking about this game in the last few days again because of something I wrote on the site in relation to another game I'm really looking forward to. But Gone Home came out probably about 10 years ago now, and when it did, it really kind of hit the industry as like a smaller title of pure mystery. And if you've not played the game, you play as a young college student who's returned home from their summer abroad, and when they walk home, nobody's there. Nobody has, and she has no idea what's happened. Where is everybody? What's gone on? And the game just makes you feel like you're walking around and someone is going to tap you on the shoulder at any moment. And the kind of the feel of dread in the house is like something that a game hasn't really given me before when I played it, and it just keeps you guessing the whole way through. Is it a horror game? I don't want to spoil that. I think that's kind of part of the mystique to it. It's one of those kind of smaller titles that you can always pick up for a few pounds on a sale on just about every console available. But it's an experience that everyone should share. It's got a really great story. It's got really eerie gameplay, and it's just something you can wrap up in time for Halloween if you listen to this podcast when we put it out tomorrow. But it's a really spooky experience, and yeah, games that keep you guessing are really up my alley at the moment. So really recommend Gone Home, and it's something that I hadn't thought about in a while, but I think writing about something similar brought it back to me this week, and yeah, it's one of those that you'll only play through once the first time, and I think that kind of once you have it, you don't need to play it again, perhaps, because you know the story. But the first time you play it is a really unique experience, and would encourage anyone to have a go at it, especially if you like things like What Remains of Edith Finch and Vanishing of Ethan Carter, those kind of things. It's very much in that bucket. So really recommend Gone Home.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't played it. I played What Remains of Edith Finch and loved that. So yeah, I've been meaning to get around to Gone Home. And the other one you mentioned, Vanishing of Ethan Carter, that's another one on the list. Nice pick, man. Very good. Lady V, what's your first pick?
I'm going to continue the trend of a little bit spooky but not too scary because I am also a giant baby.
We are definitely the baby community here, I think.
Yeah, here's some spooky games if you are terrified of everything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to recommend a game called Beacon Pines.
Mm.
So you play as like a little deer boy who lives with his grandmother in a place called Beacon Pines, and there's some spooky goings on. So it's sort of just a little adventure game. The main mechanic in it is you go around and you talk to people and you investigate things and you collect words, and then you put them into different parts of the story in order to change what happens. So you play through different events over and over again, put different words in to try and change what happens in order to save your town from the spooky goings on. But the art style's super cute, super charming. There is maybe like a little bit like Gone Home, which unfortunately I've also not played. Like a mystery to be solved, and it's got a little bit of an eerie atmosphere. You know, like there's obviously some corruption, but is it something more? Is there something spookier than just big corporal going on? Like you have to go through and figure everything out, all like presented in this lovely little sort of fairy tale storybook fashion where everyone's just a little cute little animal. You play like you're there with your two little friends, trying to solve a mystery and save the town. So yeah, if you like sort of point and click adventure games, if you like mystery games with a little bit of a Halloweeny theme, I would highly recommend Beacon Pines. It's a very, very good game. I played it through last Halloween. I think it was my Halloweeny game. And I had a lovely time with it. It was just like a really good, I think it's about 5 to 6 hours, you know, lazy Sunday. It's a bit rainy outside. Get a nice cup of coffee or a tea or whatever, warm beverage, mulled wine, warm beverage of your choice. Get some snacks, get a big blanket, and just sit and have a little spooky time. Like, but yeah, I would recommend it. It's a very, very fun game.
Yeah, that is a great game. Great pull. Smaller title I remember playing through Game Pass, maybe last year or the year before. Um, didn't really know anything about it. I just picked it up, liked the looks of it, sort of read the back of the box, kind of summary, and was like, yeah, sounds like something I could play, something I could finish and complete, and suddenly did. Yeah, 100% of that. Had a really good time with it. Um, I'm going to carry on uh, the theme again of eerie, not quite like scary, but also I'm going to add to it the deer aspect from Beacon Pines, and I'm going to recommend a game called Venture to the Vile, which is a game that I actually reviewed for the site and did a couple of guides for last year. I think it was around October time as well, and it is a 2.5D Metroidvania where you play as a young boy living as in a sort of quaint English country town, which has become sort of has been consumed by this sort of grotesque entity called the Vile, and it's mutating inhabitants. It's transforming the environment. It's changing the flora and the fauna into these grotesque monsters. Um, and you have a part of the vial has infected you, and you have now been able to gain the abilities of being able to like turn your arm into like a blade and stuff like that as you run around, trying to figure out how to get rid of the vial, help the inhabitants of the town, and where this all ties in is the fact that all the inhabitants are humans, it seems, but they all wear animal masks. So your character's wearing a little deer mask, and he's trying to find his friend who wore like a little goat mask, and you'll help. And they've all got sort of interesting characters, and there's a sort of the quintessential sort of strong man in his leotard, but he's wearing like a little mouse mask and stuff like that. Some really fun characters in there, and really weird stories and relationships. And yeah, and the sort of 2.5D aspect of it is really fun as well because you play it in 2D aspect, side scrolling, but there are pathways that go between the foreground and several backgrounds that you can move between layers of the world, as it were, which is really, really cool and creates this wonderful depth and feels much more natural, to a Metroidvania than the idea of like going up and down between rooms, as it were, as if you're going in like a big tower or something like that. You actually move backwards and forwards through the environment, which is really, really fun, and makes for some great exploration and puzzles and stuff like that. And yeah, very eerie. It's definitely sort of got unsettling moments, lots of body horror, as you can imagine. Your character screen, your inventory screen, stuff like that. It's all done like almost like old-fashioned Victorian like medical notes and stuff like that, which looks really cool. And yeah, I not only reviewed it, but I also had the chance to interview one of the co-founders of the studio Cut to Bits, a man called Paul Green, for our YouTube site. So you can find that obviously on this channel. Go check that out. And yeah, I would highly, highly recommend Venture to the Vile. I think it's a great game. I think it got heavily overlooked. And if you're a Metroidvania fan, I think you will have a great time with it. And yeah, if you're looking for something more eerie, unsettling stuff, then Venture to the Vile, definitely the one to go for. Mark, do you have a second pick for us?
Absolutely. And I've talked about this game a little bit on the podcast recently. I've just finished my first playthrough, and it's really timely for Halloween as the 2.0 update came out yesterday, and it's a game called Look Outside, which is available on Steam. It's a Devolver digital game, so it's going to be pretty decent in quality anyway. It's a pixel art survival horror, kind of top down. And it's all based within an apartment block where there is all manner of weird shit going on. And the game called Look Outside is the clue is that the last thing you want to do is look outside, because if you do, you're going to turn into God knows what, some alien kind of mush. But everything on the inside is just everyone on the inside has turned into a strange kind of demon of some variety, typically with teeth coming out of every orifice possible. But some of the pixel art character design in this game is some of the best that I've seen in absolutely years. It's fantastic. Everything is unique. The game's full of completely random encounters, so no two playthroughs will be the same. So you go to different locations, you'll end up with different companions, all of which are incredibly well written. So I ended up with a companion called Helen on mine, who is like a stone-faced, no mess, wears ski mask kind of freak, and she just talks to you like an absolute piece of shit, and it's really, really amusing. But she'll stick her neck out for you. But there's people that just, because you live in an apartment, and there's people that come and knock your door and try and sell you stuff, but they've got limbs hanging off, they've got teeth coming out their eyeballs, and you never know who to trust. So you never know who to let into your building. The 2.0 update only came out this week, which is really timely for Halloween, and I've been itching for a second playthrough. And they've added new areas, they've added new characters, new random events that happen. Honestly, it is an absolute banger of an indie. It's currently on sale on Steam for Halloween for 30% off, so it's just over £6 here in the UK. And the amount of game time you could have for that is fantastic. I played the whole lot on Steam Deck. Looks and plays lovely, and genuinely some of the best pixel art I've seen since something like Carrion, which I know you guys love. So real banger, and on sale for quite cheap this week. So really, really recommend that to everyone.
Good pick, man. I'm looking at it now, and I also have gone and checked, and just like you made a point of saying, it's on sale. Also, Venture to the Vile is also on sale. I imagine that every spooky game right now is probably on sale. So anything that you hear from us today, definitely worth checking out on Steam and on your console storefronts and stuff like that, because they're probably on sale. So definitely worth checking that out. Yeah, great pick, man. Awesome. Probably the scariest one we've mentioned thus far. Lady V, have you got another one for us?
I do, yeah, and I did just check on Steam, and it is on sale. So we are carrying on the trend of spooky games being on sale. And I do want to highlight something that's maybe a little bit more spooky than maybe people would expect from me. But I want to highlight a game called Mouthwashing. Just off the back of Mark talking about Look Outside and describing it as just incredibly weird. Mouthwashing might be one of the weirdest games I think I have ever played. There isn't there's no combat, there's no survival mechanic, things like that. It's just you just explore. There's dialogue, there's some puzzles, but it's just really weird. It's very difficult to explain mouth-watching the game, but essentially there's a space freighter that is like stranded in space. The entire crew has been surviving off of a crate of mouthwash, and it switches from perspective to perspective as you play through it. But all the transitions are like really glitchy and weird. There's a lot of unreliable narration in it. It's really short. I think an entire playthrough would probably take you about 2 hours of it, but it is an experience that I think everyone should live through at least once. It's so strange. It's incredibly difficult to explain it as a game. It's very much into the psychological horror. Really dives into what can happen to the human psyche if you were left alone in deep space with nothing to do and nothing to eat. And the only thing you had to drink was mouthwash. I know that doesn't really explain anything, but I think if you think about it, like, what would you do in that scenario? Probably a lot of fucked up shit. And it is definitely probably one of the most tense 2 hours you play in video games. I think if you play it a little bit like what Mark was talking about with Gone Home, there's just this ever present just sense of dread throughout the entire experience. Like, this is just going to get worse. Something is horrible is about to happen. This is this is a fucked up situation, and it's going to get more and more fucked up as we go. But I would highly recommend it. Made by a small little indie studio called Wrong Organ. They also made a game which I think is free on Steam, which is also a bit fucked up, called How Fish is Made. I'm like, again, I would recommend that, but just maybe don't play them one after the other unless you've got like a bottle of wine ready or something like that. But yeah, it definitely would recommend Mouthwashing. It is bizarre, it is disturbing, and it is perfect for spooky season.
Looks
Fantastic.
absolutely like weird.
Yep.
Checking it out here. I don't know what this mummy guy's doing, but he looks. I think he's got more than 1 foot in the grave. This guy.
Yeah.
You'll have to get it on sale and try it out for spooky season. It's only about 2 hours work.
I think I bought it the last time you spoke about it because it's on my Steam library, so I should get around to playing it. But yeah, a lot of great picks there. I think from all of us. Do you guys have any more, or should we call it there? I'm gonna say yeah.
I think I just have to highlight my goat from last gen, Resident Evil 2 remake, and I won't talk about it too much, but man, I think it's that and 4 are the best 2 remakes of any games ever made. They are just so damn special. The remake of 2, being followed around that police department by Mr. X is some of the most traumatizing gaming of my life. Like, talked about the fear of dread, the feeling of dread when you're upstairs and he's coming through the attic with you and you're trying to get back down the stairs. Oh man, like I think I was about to run out the room to the toilet, let alone run away from Mr. X. So it's a pretty harrowing experience. But Resident Evil 2 remake is just, I think it just did everything that it needed to do for the whole franchise as well.
Yeah.
And I think it basically got RE back, and ever since, RE has just been banger after banger, and I really cannot wait for Requiem. Cannot bloody wait.
Well, unless you've got anything else to add, I think that leads us quite nicely into what we're looking forward to.
I was just going to very quickly do one more, but I'm not going to talk a lot about it because you should play Blind if you're ever going to play it. But to prove that, like, even though there's too many roguelikes now, there's still fantastic roguelikes that you might not have played. Go play Inscription. If you want to be terrified about just being alive and looking in the corner of your room for the rest of the weekend, play some Inscription. I'm not going to tell you anything else about it. Just go and play.
I think it's on
There we
Game
go.
Pass. I think it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And more than likely on sale.
Oh yeah, it will definitely be on sale. It's probably in a bundle with bloody mouthwashing. Like,
Oh, treat yourself. There
yeah.
you go. Well, yes, I think that is going to bring us to what we are looking forward to round off the show. I am very excited and very much looking forward to the fact that we have Time Splitters Rewind now coming out, a fan-made sort of, I guess, remake, but it's not making the whole trilogy, but it is a remake of the Time Splitters trilogy, in one game, taking a lot of parts from all of them and putting them to one. It will be available on PC come November 23rd. As a huge Time Splitters fan, this is a big deal. We had the possibility, there was a potential Time Splitters 4 that was going to happen with the original Studio Free Radicals design. But unfortunately, they were shuttered by their parent company, Embracer Group, back in 2023. And with that went any plans of Time Splitters 4 or a Time Splitters 2 remake. And thus, everyone thought, well, that's it then. We're done. There's no more. We're not going to get anything from it. And thankfully, the studio behind it, Cinder Interactive, are putting out all the stops. It's going up for free when it releases, with a huge amount of content. And I can't wait to relive some of the glory days playing Time Splitters, because that series I think is overlooked as an FPS series. I think it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun, very creative, great, a fantastic campaign in the third one in the trilogy, Future Perfect. Very funny, a lot of fun, and yeah, if you're interested, definitely worth checking out. As I said, it's going to be free, so no harm. But yeah, that is what I am looking forward to. Mark, what are you looking forward to?
I was going to talk about it a little bit this week, as I've had a little dabble, but I've probably not enough time to really share real thoughts. But I'm looking forward to getting more time into Battlefield DedSec, the new battle royale. I've had a few games with the boys, and it's been a blast. I wouldn't say I've been immediately blown away, because I don't really think it's doing that much new, having been a Warzone player for more hours than I care to admit. But I think it's got that Battlefield DNA. There's a lot in there that's going to keep me coming back, I think. But not too impressed by the map from what I've played. But I'm looking forward to playing more with the boys over the next week and sharing some real thoughts with the listeners next week's pod.
Nice, very good, Lady V. What are we looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to a game that's been on my Steam wish list for a little while now. I am maybe people might have guessed from my mention of Inscription just at the end there, but I'm a big fan of card game. And there's a game coming out next week called Sanatorium, a mental asylum simulator. No, I am not usually a simulator guy. That's usually Phrase or Community Manager. But in this, you have a deck of cards. It's sort of like a detective puzzly type game where you have a deck of cards that you can use to try and diagnose patients in a mental asylum, but you're also rummaging around trying to find clues and things like that. Because you are not actually a doctor, you are there trying to expose all of the wrongdoings of this mental asylum. So from what I have seen of it, it looks incredibly unique. There's like maybe a little bit of Inscription there. There's bits of it that definitely that I've seen of it that looks a little bit Papers, Please, which is a game that I am a fantastic, just think is fantastic. A really big fan of. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. It's been on my wish list for a good while. I think the art style is very fun. It's very simple, very clean. But I do love a good little puzzly game, and this is a really unique little puzzly game that has card mechanics that is not a roguelike, which is always a bonus. Um, and just, trying to solve mysteries, figure things out, expose expose this terrible sanatorium, but at the same time make sure that you don't get detected while you're trying to do it. And it comes out November the 6th, so hopefully I'll get a few hours on it before the pod next week and I can talk about it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Fantastic. Well, there we are. I think that is another episode of the Gamer Social Club Weekly News Podcast, Halloween edition, the first of its kind. Yeah, thank you so much, you two, for joining me today to talk about all things Halloween gaming and Amazon and whatever earth they've got going on. And thank you all for listening and watching. Of course, as I said at the top of this, if you'd like to leave a like, if you enjoyed today's episode, we really appreciate it. If you'd like to leave any comments about anything we've chatted about, any feedback you have for us, drop it in the comment section below. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. What I did forget to mention, I think, at the top was in the rigmarole, as I always do, is that, of course, to come and join us on Discord. We have a little Discord. It is growing slowly but surely, and it's a lovely place to hang out, chat games with us, join us on community game nights and things like that. I think we've got a Dead by Daylight one coming up now with the fact that it's free to play this weekend and there's goodies available for Halloween and all sorts of things. So yeah, come join us for some fun there. And yeah, please check out the site, www.gamersocialclub.ca, for all of our content. Again, links below in the description of all the articles we've already referenced today. Whole bunch of other reviews have gone up in the last week or so. Trying to think of any off the top of my head, but again, there's so many. What have we got? We got a 2 Point Museum Nintendo Switch 2 review.
Switch port for that. Yep.
Yeah, we've got the Rec Nation review. We've got
Silly Folly Beast went up, so which I believe is also a spooky number.
It is, yeah.
So if you're thinking about picking that up, we do have a review that you may want to check out beforehand just to see what you think about it.
There you go. So yeah, a bunch of other stuff there. And Spooky Express, that would be our Halloween game that I covered. A little puzzle game, help people get from where they are to their destination using a train. Deliver vampires to their coffins, make sure humans don't get turned into zombies. Cute stuff, but gives your brain a bit of a workout as well. So yeah, worth checking that out. But yeah, I think that is everything from us today. So again, yeah, thank you all for joining me and for listening and watching it. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, play some great games, and we will see you next time. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Halloween.